Hello, everyone. This is our Cluster API provider GCP office hours. Today is May 5th of 2022. And looks like today we have like a very one-on-one meeting, like me, myself, Carlos, and Abhinav. I don't know if I pronounce your name correctly.
It's totally correct.
Okay, cool. And just a reminder that this is a meeting that is under the Kubernetes community, under the CNCF code of conduct. In general, this is just be nice to each other. I'm gonna share my screen and post in the chat the link for the agenda. Please add your name there and topics if you want to discuss. Let's share the screen. Not this one, not this one, not this one, not this one. Oh, too many tabs. Reopen. Okay, here. I think we don't have any new members, or if you want to introduce yourself, that's gonna be good.
Well, I think we already had.
Yeah, okay.
In the last week.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's go to the first open discussion. And that is my proposal for myself. We have the cluster API, the cluster API itself already released the version 1.1, and in our project we didn't release that yet. I'm proposing like to recreate the branch of the release 1.1 and make the make all the necessary jobs in test infra and then release 1.1. I guess this is a good thing to do. Like I was checking the other providers, they already released 1.1. The only thing we need to do here, I'm gonna check, or if you want to do that as well, I'm not, like check if our dependencies for cluster APIs is running on the latest one as the cluster API released. If it is, like we can do a check right now, actually. Let's do that.
Are we using the test package in the GCP provider?
Sorry?
Because I noticed that I was actually working on one of the commands in the Kappa repository, right? And while I was working, I noticed that there was some Go mod changes, and I noticed there was a new version apparently. It was like 1.3 in the test package. I'm not sure if that is correct.
Okay, for the cluster API, you mean? Yeah. The test framework for cluster API. Yeah, we are using always the same. Okay, the current we have is 1.1.3. Let's check the cluster API. What's the release for that? Yeah, it's 1.1.3. Okay, we are in sync with this. And let's just confirm your question. Let's go to Go modules. Yeah, both are using 1.1.3.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, we should be fine on that. It's one, there's a replace here. Yeah, everything should be on that. Okay, then tomorrow I'm gonna like create the test infra jobs for the release branch 1.1 and then prepare the release for the cluster API provided GCP. And then we open the master branch, the main branch, for like upgrading for the next release of cluster API, which is 1.2, I guess. And I think I'm not sure if they are ready. No, they didn't upgrade to Go 18 yet. I think size maybe like size KK Kubernetes, the main branch is using Go 1.18. I think it's good. Like I'm gonna check with the cluster API maintainers if there's any plans to move to go 118. Questions?
Not really as for now.
Okay.
I'm not too much familiar with the like technical side of cluster API. I'm just contributing more or less as a beginner in
Yep.
Kappa.
No problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I'm more
like the cluster API provides the features that the providers implement, right? And we are always in sync with the cluster API, because also cluster API provides the cluster API CTL, the tool that you can use to interact with the clusters, with the management cluster. And for that, like if you are using a version, for example, 1.0, you most likely you cannot use the cluster API provider that is on 1.2, for example. Then we always need to be in match.
I see. I remember we had like Richard and I and one other fellow, we were having a discussion about GSOC projects for Kappa, right?
Right.
And during that meeting itself, Richard had actually explained a lot about the internal workings of Kappa, like what role do the controllers themselves play when it comes to like deploying different resources on AWS itself. So
Right.
I'm assuming like a similar kind of a process goes on in the GCP provider as well, right?
Correct. All the providers are pretty similar, like CAPI AWS, CAPI Azure, CAPI GCP, DigitalOcean, and others. They are pretty similar. The only thing that's gonna like make the difference is the API calls, right, to the cloud providers. That is the different ones, and the way we interact with the cloud provider, right? But in a high level, almost everything should be almost the same types of controllers, the same types of process, right?
That sounds cool. Maybe since I kind of get the idea that there's actually a lot of work remaining in the GCP provider itself as compared to the other major providers like Azure or AWS itself.
Right.
So there are some issues that I can start working on right away as a beginner, maybe, or even if there's any like medium level issues that after some documentations, going through some documentations and some technical sources that maybe I can start working on.
Sounds good. I think there is a few issues open in the project. You can take a look on that, and then maybe you can post in the channel, in the Slack channel, if you want to work in someone, like post the issue. Like if you have any questions, you can ask in the channel as well. Like I can answer, Winnie, Richard, and others maybe in the community also can help. But that's nice to have you like on board.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Cool.
Specifically, I have a question about like, are there any issues or are there any plans for any implementations in the CI jobs themselves for GCP?
How, like in which sense?
For example, right now, the project that I'm working on in LFX for Kappa involves automating the AMI build, test, and publish pipelines using the GitHub API as well as the Prow jobs. So that's the project that I'm currently taking for Kappa.
Yeah, I got it. I didn't understand the purpose of the job is to publish what?
It's basically since AWS has Amazon Machine Images, right? Yeah, so that process currently takes place pretty much manually. So
right.
whichever person has the responsibility to publish the AMIs, they just have to run the script on their system, and then it takes quite a while to like pretty much publish all the AMIs through all the regions. And for the specific OSs that have to like pretty much implement that
right.
Kubernetes version.
For GCP, in this case, we already have a job that is running nightly that generates the images and publish those images. for all the active Kubernetes releases. And but I'm not sure about AWS, but we don't have like a, for now, like we are publishing those images in a GCP project, and then those images are public. Anyone can consume those. But I'm not sure, like I need to speak with the people in AWS to see how they are doing, because I think we don't have like a dedicated project to publish the image for GCP, like as official one. Usually who is running cluster API for their like needs, they need to build the images and then publish those images in their projects. It's different, a little bit different from AWS and I guess from Microsoft. But this is something that we like, I would say if we open an issue and asking like to have a let's say our official publish image for GCP, Cluster API GCP, I think we can work on that for sure. The jobs already exist, like it's running nightly every day. Let me show you what site we are here. I cannot find. Yeah. Is this one here? I'm going to post in the channel. This job runs every day and it generates the image. Oh, no, not this one. Sorry, this is the AWS. Copy. Where's it? Oh, this is the post. Yes, it's here. Yeah, this one. Let me post this one. This is the correct one. It builds the image, all the images, and let's go to the end of. And here we can see all the images, like which project, like the staging one, and the images, like for example, for 1.18.18, 1.18.20, and then we have 1.18.23.3.22.6 and so on. If we want to like have a official one that is released, we can just change this job, like to create another one to publish and copy to the correct place. But for that, we need to discuss with the cluster API maintainers and maybe with someone in the Kubernetes to see if we can push those images to the production bucket or to another place. There's some discussions we need to have before we do that. It's a little bit different from AWS because maybe AWS is supporting those things, and for Azure as well. But in this case here, we need to check. But it's a good one, like to have the issue and then we find out.
So I'm a bit curious about this job in itself. Was it provided by the image builder team, or like was it created by the people working in GCP?
No, it's by the image builder. Yes.
Okay, so the folks at Image Builder team are actually like working on this job.
Now, this job I created like a long time, a long time ago, and it's working like for quite some, like a few months now, like I would say more than a year, I guess, or kind of a year now.
So how did you actually manage the credentials? Because I believe the credentials themselves, I'm not sure if for the Google provider, it is managed in a different manner. But in case of AWS, I think they lease the images, they lease the credentials using their internal like implementation, such as like Boscos and
yeah. For AWS, there is Boscos that like allow the. In this case as well, in the GCP, we use Boscos as well, like to provide the keys. But since we are using the staging bucket, the staging project we have, like there's another specific keys we pass in the pro job. In your case, you need to check which like keys you need to use for the job and then pass that. Like I think the Kappa maintainers know which credentials they should use on that.
Okay, so the place where all these images are being published, whichever account is it a CNCF provided account or is it like a third party account?
This project here for GCP, yes. This is like a community, Kubernetes community project. This is under the CNCF account, but this is like the same for the others. Like there's a staging, there's a Kate's staging Kubernetes one that we release Kubernetes. That's another, that's all the stagings are the accounts that we push binaries or images or anything for a staging proposal that's going to be promoted to production eventually. That's not like 100% true that everything is staging goes to production. But this account is on the Kubernetes community, and then this is on under CNCF as well.
I see. So these must be like the credentials must be fixed in this case instead of being randomly for like, for example, for test purposes, I guess they might be randomized sometimes just for the testing.
Yeah, indeed. For this job specific, we use the credentials that allow to push for this specific project. We have a pre-submit job that pushes to like a temporary project in GCP that uses Boscos to do that.
Okay, so these credentials are actually like as an environment variable, these fixed credentials are mentioned within the container itself, or like do we have to?
This is a configuration that you need to set up in the pro job. If you need to, like, for example, if you need to create a new set of credentials, there is a process in the testing infra repository that you can check that you need to open some PRs to add the credentials and talk to some persons that have the permissions to create the secret inside the cluster. Then you can use that in pro job.
I see, I get it now. Yeah,
there's a lot of like infrastructure before you have the actual job that needs to be done before, like which is create a secret, check if the secret is working, like upload the secret to the cluster, create the secret in the pro world, and make that pro job allowed to use that secret to inject it when it runs in your job. There's a lot of things that needs to be done beforehand to after you create the job itself.
I see. Yeah, I get it. Because I think right now we are using the Heptio account for publishing the images. So it's owned by VMware apparently. And that's something that we were working on because my task actually involves some of the things that where we might require the credentials for those for the account on which we have to publish the images, right? But in case of the current system, the current way we manage credentials, at least for Prow, I think there is no way, there is no safe way as of now to use our credentials publicly. So I think, as you mentioned, the test infra team, we might need to communicate with the test infra team.
Yes, you need to speak and then provide the appropriate credentials to use in the job.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for actually
No
telling me
problem.
about.
No problem. Okay. We are like, we don't have any other topics to discuss, and I think we can end this meeting if you don't have any other questions.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I'll just go over the repository for any issues that I might be interested in.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
thanks a lot.
see you next month. Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Take care.